Um, Professors, good evening. Today we are having a professor from NIT Warangal. Uh, Actually, she is an English professor.
Dr. Chandrasekhar. Chandra?
So, 1 minute. I'm just calling up. She will join soon.
Please inform him. Give the break 8 o'clock, 8 to 7:50.
Yes, Professor. She will be joining and shortly, soon. She's logging in. Professor Chandramohan.
Professor Chandra, please
Yes.
inform him
Okay.
or give the 10 minutes break in the middle of the session.
Sure, sir. Sure. I will
Because
join, sir.
continuous session, the people are get bored.
Okay, sir. Okay. Hello, ma'am. Good evening,
Good
ma'am.
evening. Very pleasant good evening to everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible,
Yes,
ma'am?
you are.
Uh, Madam, can we go ahead? Good evening to one and all who are present here in this meeting. Uh, I welcome all the faculty participants for this fourth day ATAL FDP program, and which is the fourth session today. And today we are having eminent professor from NIT Warangal uh, in Telangana. Uh, I welcome Professor Madhavi Kesari from NIT. She has consented immediately on my invitation to mail. I just browsed through the uh, profiles of different persons who are interested in pedagogy and in different contents of this particular FDP. And I was luckily got her profile, and when I sent an invitation mail, she immediately accepted for this FDP, and I'm very happy to have her today in this meeting. I welcome you, ma'am. I welcome you for this ATAL FDP program, ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am. And to briefly introduce about her, uh, uh, Madam Madhavi Kesari is a professor and a head in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences in the National Institute of Technology, Warangal. She holds a PhD in English language teaching from Osmania University and also an MPhil degree. And she is a postgraduate diploma in teaching of English also from the Institute of English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. She has over 22 years of teaching and research experience. To specifically say, to as I said, she is an eminent professor in this field. Her interest is in designing task-based ESP courses, multiple intelligence like visual literacies, employing flipped classroom methods of teaching, learner engagement strategies, etc., and innovative methods of teaching. So I believe that this session will be very much interesting and very helpful for our faculty members to take forward it to our students also. Professor has also authored 8 books and guided for PhD scholars, and presently she is also guiding many other people. And uh, she has conducted more training programs in academic writing, oral communication skills, and soft skills, and not only that, she has contributed significantly to the designing and development of curriculum in many colleges and many universities like JNTU UK and JNTUH and Osmania University. And also, she is a core team member of Center for Educational Technology and Teaching Learning Center in NIT Warangal. She is a member of local organizing committee of MHRD funded national mission on school education projects, and she has also taken up the scheme called Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan, and she is a lifetime member of Teaching Education Research Association and member 2020 of EVO on mentoring teacher research. She is an expert in ACTE and UGC and other accreditation boards and all. And She has chaired a number of seminars and conferences. She has also chaired reading and writing education in a 4-day international conference in London International Conference on Education, which was organized by University of Cambridge, UK, in the year 2017. So it's a great pleasure to have such an eminent professor today for this fourth session of this ATAL FDP program, wherein we are going to discuss about how design thinking is going to help in learning and leading of digital natives. So, with this, I wholeheartedly welcome Madhavi Kesari Madam, and leave the forum to her to proceed with her session and her inputs also. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chandrasekhar, for that elaborative introduction. A very pleasant good evening to all the participants who have been attending to the 2 week FDP on the theme pedagogical design thinking for digital employability. Of course, ACT and ATAL have always been looking for inventiveness, and the minute we hear about ATAL FDPs, there is some kind of novelty in the themes as well. Even at NIT, we have organized 5 in series, especially from the department. One of our faculty members was granted these, you know, grant, and then that was on AR and VR, artificial intelligence, then Industry 4.0, Education 4.0 to Industry 5.0. So these were some of the themes, and then interestingly, Alagappa University and the Department of School of Management had also come up with this kind of theme, which is highly current, contemporary, and very much relevant, and then explorative in nature. Yes. So creativity has always been part of professional development, inventive thinking, dynamism. So the teacher's role has been expanding over a period of time. It is no more restricted to classrooms, but rather, I think it is no more restricted to teaching, but then it is in being highly resourceful as well in terms of material designing materials, in terms of taking care of the psychological needs of the students, addressing to the problems or needs of students who are at varying levels of learning, low achievers, and also making teaching learning interesting and challenging. So the biggest hassle or challenge in teaching is retention as well. In addition to fulfilling all these administrative and academic formalities, the biggest challenge has been retention levels and motivation levels, because today's generation Zen learners are entering into the field of education, and they have lived in a digitally mediated world, and of course in the midst of internet, mobiles, social networking, etc. They are completely fluent in the social and cultural manifestations of digital media, and through multiple digital channels they function, they operate, they live, which was not the case earlier. So grappling with such a situation has posed a greater challenge to the teaching community, and with this at the backdrop, with this kind of situation prevalent at the backdrop, the theme of FDP, pedagogical design and thinking for digital employability, or the theme of my topic, design thinking for leading and learning of digital natives, has been very upcoming uh, in across the world, but then in Indian context, it is yet to be explored. And in the field of education, yes, in a small way, it is happening. So we are going to look at all these elements. But before that, yeah, I would definitely share my screen. I thought this kind of prelude is needed before I start sharing my screen. I had a sore throat just 2 days ago. I developed a cold, and that's how uh, my voice may not be that audible as it would have been. So please bear with it. Uh, what is design thinking? We need to understand. Perhaps last 2 or 3 days, the sessions that you've attended to would have laid a foundation to uh, the definition and the meaning of design thinking, but still, I would like to reiterate on what it really means. Yeah, the two terms, design and thinking, uh, are they correlated? So thinking is again cognitive level. One has to think. Designing is at a practical level, functional level. So designing and thinking, there are, do you what do you understand in layman's terms when you try to interpret the term design thinking? If you have known something, you please share. I'm told that the session should be interactive, though the topic would be theoretical in nature. However, I'm going to make it interactive, for it is late evenings happening. I'll play some videos for you at school level, what is happening on design thinking, and how can that be integrated into education technology at higher secondary level and in higher education, and how many industries transformed have witnessed a major or phenomenal change in their business. So we are going to look at all of these during this 1.5 hours to 2 hour session. So, but before that, I would like to hear from you, or you could post in the chat box, what would design thinking mean? Okay, somebody responded. Problem is not defined by the faculty, it is defined by the students, but the faculty defines a scope to them. So, this is what is design thinking, which involves a problem identified by the student, and it is later fine tuned with the intervention of the faculty. Have I interpreted it in the right way? Any other interpretations? Practical approaches to solve a particular problem? Yes, right. Can you quote a specific example? Can you explain with a specific example if possible? Practical, yeah. It is all right. Thank you for your responses. So, design thinking is an approach used for practical and creative problem solving. It is basically based on heavily or on the methods and process that designers use, and it varies in the fields of, it is used extensively in the fields of architecture, primarily engineering and business, and it can also be applied to, primarily it is used in these fields, that is architecture, engineering and business, but it can also be extended to other fields. So that is a basic interpretation of design thinking. And it started, if you look at the origin, of course, it started out as a process for creating sleek new technology and products. Basically, it's to do with consumer friendly products or business oriented, to make profits, to reach out to the customers, business entrepreneurs or startups. You have many startups coming up of late in the last 5 years. So, all this is a result or outcome of design thinking. So, it is used both in private and also public sectors. To talk about the origin, I think originally the design thinking methodology was popularized by design consulting firm IDEO. And later, these methods gained momentum in the larger business world after Tim Brown The chief executive officer of IDEO wrote an article in 2008 for the Harvard Business Review. So, roughly 12 years ago, this had originated, and then gradually it is spreading across the globe. So, as I said, it prioritizes the consumer needs above all else. It relies on observing with empathy. There are stages again: empathizing, ideation, developing a prototype, etc. So, we are also looking at those elements. And digital immigrants and digital, we are going to look at students who are termed as or labeled as digital natives and digital immigrants, the differences and pedagogical implications. So, with this briefing, I would like to share my screen.
Hello, madam. Just a small information. You can break at the end of 7:50 and have a 10 minutes break and then continue, ma'am.
Sure, sure. But I request you to remind me, please, either
Sure, ma'am.
in
Sure.
the chat box.
Okay, ma'am.
So, we digital design thinking, we have understood it to be one of the creative ways, innovative ways, as an extension to artificial, uh, augmented reality, virtual reality. We have witnessed how prototypes have developed in the fields of medicine, in the fields of army, navy, and in the field of education. There are some softwares or packages available to train students. That equipment has to be purchased where they get that real life experience, that is virtual reality and 3D processing, etc. Now, this is a further development on the existing models. And where is the need? If you look at the global economy and global trends, digitization and the globalization and the changing nature of work have precipitated a paradigm shift in skill requirement. Now, why should educational institutes gear up to meeting this challenge, or why is there a need to adapt to the changes? Now, NEP, National Education Policy, New Education Policy or National Education Policy, devised in 2020, had lofty objectives to be realized over long term, over a period of 10 years or 20 years. It has given a roadmap for 20 years down the line in changing the in bringing a major reformation in the educational institutions, be it in curriculum, be it in developing academic bank of credits. That is, institution should be able to offer more number of courses, like a bank of credits. Credits are the number of credits at the end of or at the beginning of every semester. Students should be given wider opportunities or wide choices, like cafeteria choice, in selecting the courses of his or her choice. One, I'm only enshrining on the major takeaways from NEP. So there again, of course, digitization and in inventiveness. Even this has been stressed in sustainable development goals, use of technology, and Sustainable Development Goal 4 talks about improvising and equal education to all, quality education to all. So, all in the past, we have policy makers reiterating the need to reformulate or refurbish the existing system of education and bring in hands on experience. So, NEP, again, going back to what National Education Policy advocates, is in addition to introducing academic bank of credit, then introducing multidisciplinary courses at research level. Like, if the research need not be restricted to management, but then it can be interdisciplinary as well, perhaps with computers. So digital, the design thinking can provide ample opportunity to collaborate, and NEP supports this kind of change. But it's a long way. Not many universities have gone for implementation of NEP guidelines. It is just a begin, just started. So, as part of NEP curriculum revisions at NIT, we have thoroughly revised the curriculum across all the disciplines, and humanities department itself has floated a minor course. So, as part of NEP, again, any institute can float a minor or a major. A student pursuing his trade in electronics can not only be awarded a grade sheet or certificate in electronics, but then he can get a minor certificate in courses offered by department, HSS or SOM. Different departments have, there are 12 such minor courses with 18 credits. That is, there are 5 plus 1, 5 courses plus 1 project. So the courses should broadly fall under the title. So here we offer professional communications skills for STEM students pursuing engineering and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Professional communication skills for STEM. Under that, we have global Englishes, media, creative and critical thinking skills. Then a paper on professional writing, academic writing, and professional ethics. Even foreign languages are offered in addition to a project. So their project we can think of assigning a topic where the problem is associated, social problems on design thinking. So exploration, we have to think of more than one way or innovative ways to bring it into the system of education. And NEP has already laid guidelines. So one is interdisciplinary research, promoting interdisciplinary, then establishing uh, multi-educational research universities, multidisciplinary educational research universities. That is MERU, MERU. So that is a long way to real materialize, but then slowly I think we can reorient the curriculum. Even bringing in vocational emphasis has been given to vocational education. All kinds of trades to be part of mainstream education, including goldsmithery, plumbing, carpentry. So they should find place in the mainstream curriculum. So they have realized of late that the Indian youth lack, yeah, the fall in the rate of employability is due to lack of skills. So the International Labour Organization predicts a skill deficit of 29 million by 2030, even as 53% of Indian business found themselves unable to hire suitable candidates because of their lack of skills. So there is a need to rehaul the system of education by laying emphasis on skills and project-based learning, creative thinking, etc. So, the need for equipping the aspiring professionals with critical skills is essential to reduce the gap identified by International Labour Organization. So, this is a master slide of contents. So, as I mentioned, we are dealing with students or student community who are well versed, who are living in a digitally mediated world, and the increased mobility, the World Wide Web, the instant information, the Wikipedia, that we, internet, of course, access to internet, and plethora of resources could make this challenge possible and feasible. Utilizing these resources, so design thinking is a concept both in theory and practice. It's a new paradigm for dealing with problems in any professions and fields, including IT, business, research, innovation, and education. You can relate it to your respective disciplines. You could try to correlate it, need not be restricted to certain fields. It can as well be extended to humanities, social sciences, and management disciplines. So, according to Ray, design thinking has been defined as a process in collaboration to solve the problems by finding and processing information, taking into consideration the real world people's experience and feedback. And these are the essential stages in understanding. So the prime factor is empathizing, understanding people, what are their needs, what their needs are, and then ideate, define, test, prototype. These are some of the popular terms associated with design thinking. Of course, in academic field, the term has been coined many years ago, and that was in 1987 when he first published a book titled Design Thinking, and later, no, originally it was Simon who introduced in 1969, and then Rowe in 1987, and Johnson and Woodilla in 2009. These are some of the characteristics of design thinking. After viewing this, we will watch a video. After viewing the characteristics, ambiguity, there's an element of ambiguity which has to be sorted out in collaboration. Constructiveness, curiosity, empathy, holism, iteration, non judgmental way, and openness. Unbiased, without any prejudices. So one has to be a fast thinker, one has to be proactive, one has to think holistically, one should be able to co create, work with team with a spirit of coordination. It is not just a process, but it is also a mindset, according to Grimmett and Bake. It is both a process and a mindset, the way you think and the process which you undergo. One has to undergo to overcome a problem. Sometimes it involves collaboration at certain issues across disciplines in interdisciplinary teams for a better outcome. It means empathy as a focus. So we will again come back to this. I would like to share play a video. All right. So that was an example of how students have collectively designed strap clips, identifying or empathizing the need of the little girl. So that is an example. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am, but the video audio is not here, could not be heard.
I see. Oh, I'm sorry about it. I checked your comment just now. Uh, I hope you got the gist.
It's
It's about students coming together, identifying the problem. The they have teacher had shown them a little girl who has problem in wearing her socks without clips. So they said, what can be done to? So the idea was generated. The solution was identified from the young students, school-going kids. Then they came up with different ideas, and then that was they developed a model. They printed it, the size and other things, color and designs were checked, and finally they came up with a solution. So this is just a tiny example of how design thinking can work wonders addressing the needs of people. In fact, I have other video to share, but I wonder if just let me know if the is it is this audio audible? Is the audio clear? Which I'm playing now? No.
no, ma'am, we can hear your voice only, but
Should I try forwarding the link to? Let me try forwarding the link to you. Designingschools.org. Is there any way we could make it audible? This is the link for the video that I played first.
While we cannot predict what the future holds, one thing that we know will always remain a constant is that there will never be a shortage of problems in the world. As a result, one of the most important skills that our students need to have is the
ma'am, can you hear the voice now?
Yes, I can. I can. It's on.
Video voice was heard.
Yeah. Please continue to play, sir.
Just a minute. I will share the screen from my.
Sure.
solvers and problem finders. Today, I'm so excited to show you some of the highlights from one of my design thinking workshops where we explore
Can
how the
all of you
principles of
hear?
design thinking can create environments that foster creativity, nurture
Is it
curiosity,
audible
and create
to all
collaborative
of you?
approaches to problem solving
Okay.
Yes,
studies.
sir, it's audible.
One of the things that's important to keep in mind about design thinking is that it is something that can be brought into your traditional curriculum. A lot of times when we hear the term, we think that it's associated with maker spaces or technology electives or other courses, but it's not something that I can do in history or in English or in math or in science. And so one of the biggest goals of the workshop is to really begin exploring how we can take the mindsets that come about from engaging in design thinking, the skills that we get as a result of engaging in the framework, and bring those into our traditional curriculum. Mindsets such as being able to learn from failure, being able to develop creative confidence, being able to embrace ambiguity, but above all, really being able to develop a sense of empathy. Oftentimes, these types of learning experiences, when you integrate design thinking and project-based learning, look very different than they did in the past. For example, it's not as simple as just giving students certain directions and having them all turn in the same type of project. So the way in which we scaffold instruction, the way in which we organize materials, the way in which we create activities and lessons, and the way in which we organize those is going to look different. So being able to have the opportunity to really be the student in that role allows you to really create things that are going to be more beneficial to creating a more successful environment when you move in this direction. Now, one of the things that differentiates design thinking from so many of the frameworks that we hear about, that we read about, is that design thinking begins with empathy. And a lot of times when you begin with empathy, what you think is often challenged by what you learn. So, for example, there's a lot of educators who believe that, no, design thinking is not possible in traditional curriculum. I can't bring creativity into my math classroom or my science classroom, my history classroom. And what's really powerful about these different types of design thinking challenges that we engage in is that as they have conversations with one another about how they might redesign environments that are engaging and that foster curiosity and creativity and collaboration, the insights that they get from those different conversations really empower them to know that yes, this is possible and yes, this can be done within the confines of my classroom. John Dewey once said, if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. And one of the most beautiful things about the design thinking process and watching educators engage in the different design thinking challenges is that they learn that things that once seemed completely impossible are now manageable when broken down into small steps. Above all, one of the best parts about design thinking is that it's an iterative process, which means that your first try won't be your last try. It's so important when moving in this direction and trying to bring change and innovation into your classrooms that you begin with small steps that lead to larger goals. If you're interested in learning more about design thinking, visit me across all my social media channels or my website, www.askmsq.com.
Sir, I wanted you to play actually this video.
The next one, ma'am.
Yeah. No, no.
Uh, in that which video, ma'am? Actually,
About the school, I think. One minute.
students create. There are different videos. Students help lead a toddler with cerebral palsy, etc., ma'am. Uh,
1 minute. I'll just check.
I opened the tab.
Yeah.
Students solve schools
This is the
sustainability.
one. This is the one. This one.
Uh,
Designing schools. This is the one I wanted you to play, sir. Would you mind doing?
just uh, I could not get that. 1 minute,
Here,
ma'am.
did you click on the right link?
Designing
Iris
schools, the futures.
dot org.
Okay. Just a minute, ma'am.
Ah,
I am in the what is designing thinking, a handy guide for classroom teachers. in that
Scroll down, sir. We could scroll down, and this is the title: Designing Schools. The future is a place.
designing schools. Okay, just a minute. Okay.
We know why schools need to change. We
Can you
just
hear
don't always
the
know
audio,
how.
please?
And creating change, it's hard.
When these questions start to bubble up, there's that vulnerability where we're like, we don't know.
So it's that culture of vulnerability and just being able to go, you know what, I messed up and let's try it again.
44% of executives say that incoming graduates do not have the skills they need to be successful.
Just, we ask them, when you're looking for a new hire, what do you look for? We want to know.
It's not about whether may I. It's like, what's the great idea? Let's make it happen.
They're like creativity, collaboration, please, collaboration.
We're all great at something, but we can't be great at everything. And I remember being a teacher and walking into Design 39 and thinking, I wish I was able to work in an environment like this. And so I think the question we have to ask is, how do we move away from these traditional structures that are keeping both people and learning in isolation? California, a place calling out to those in search of new opportunities, those who want to reinvent themselves. It's a place that offers you the personal liberation to be something or do something.
I never heard of design thinking before I got here.
I see how we implement it, not just through curriculum, but I think when socially kids are having problems, instead of just focusing on what's your problem, what are you going to do about it?
Design thinking is more of a mindset than a skill.
However, like Eric reminds us, technology doesn't shape our destiny, we shape our destiny. And if indeed we have the power to shape our destiny, what are the skills and mindsets we need to be successful? How will we learn them, and who's going to prepare us? To explore this very question, I welcome you to Design 39.
I want to be able to answer those questions in a simple statement. So we have life-ready thought leaders elevating humanity.
It's not about learning the stuff, it's about becoming a learner. And once you become a learner and you understand how to be a learner, then the world is yours and you can do anything.
Half the time they don't even think they're learning anything. They think they're just having a great time and solving problems and helping other people. And for that to be school, how amazing is that?
Okay, sir. Thank you for playing the video. That was just a trailer to see what the future is going to be. And infrastructure-wise also, I think, the methodology-wise and infrastructure-wise, we need to equip with computers. I think some of the universities have been teaching using screens. The textbooks are displayed. Rajiv Gandhi Knowledge Centers, triple ITs are already using it, but then not in a full-fledged manner. So again, as I said, there should be a reorientation in the methodology, in the curriculum, in the use of materials that should be backed by technology and equipment. So coming back to the features of characteristics of design thinking.
Hello, ma'am. Can we break for 5 minutes, ma'am, please?
All right, sir. Fine.
Okay.
It is